Yeah, recording start. Now, yesterday what we found? We found, please hold on for a second. Hello. No one class here. Hello. Yeah, fine. So yesterday we talked about this Lindell equilibrium and the Wixel-Lindell tax system, which tries to connect efficiency with the marginal benefit, right? So achieving efficiency. That's the good part of the Wixel-Lindell tax system. But we also found there are 3-4 major problems, and the major problem which remains is the demand revelation, because as you can see that the government, while using the tax share rule, connecting for each person, the ith person, the marginal utility of the public good to his tax share, is basically relying on that V function, right? Which is the utility function, the subcomponent of his entire utility, which this is my total utility function, right? But the subcomponent, which is the utility coming from consumption of the public good, that information comes from the public. And there is no way in this particular mechanism where you can force the people to reveal their preferences truthfully. As we said, you might say, okay, this is my tax share, no problem, but this much I know. So people will try to demand more, right? Now, this is something I will just add a couple of bullets in this particular slide, but there can be another way. It is called fixed tax shares. What is fixed tax share? Suppose there are n number of people. So I'm just trying to add these bullets, and you can see. So TI is the, sorry, control, yeah. Tax share for the ith person can be equal to say 1 by n people, right? Or it can be of a different sort of uh, this is omega. I will just correct these things. So basically what I have right now, I'm not using the math prompt. So just for the time being, for your reference, I'm just writing it down, that your tax share can be your endowment share. So below you have the sum of omega i's across all. Each individual has an endowment omega. We call that omega I. So total endowment. So this is basically your wealth share, share of endowment or share of wealth. Now the thing is, when you talk about a fixed tax share, you're trying to put some, what we call TI, contingent upon that. What you do, you get some value of X, right? So basically, the government at the end of the day will do what? Provide some X hat or the optimal X depending on the TI. Correct. Very much drawing from the Wixel-Lindell system itself, that same structure of taxation. Now, the moment you go for fixed tax structure, how can you put a one particular uh, ratio? Say, when you're talking about tax share, it's basically a ratio, right? And you're fixing that ratio. How? Very simple. You go for majority voting. Who wins? The median voter wins, right? No problem there. That is the way you should be implementing this fixed thing. Now, how? Suppose, take for example, you have one X hat, X star, and that is being vetoed against a particular Xi. Okay. Now X star, let's put it equal to the median voter sex. And without much discussion on this, you can see, you already understand that this particular X, the median X, will win over any Xi through majority voting. Now there is two good things about it. One, it is very simple to comprehend and very simple to implement. And also, the second good part of it, the advantage part of it is, unlike the Wixel-Lindell tax system, the demand revealing part does not create a very big role. Why? Look, you are, suppose my actual preference is some Xi contingent upon my TI, okay? Right? But the government is not asking me to vote for Xi. It is asking me to vote for either Xi and rival is Xi. So obviously I'll vote for Xi. Correct? This will be the winner. Whether I vote for this or anything other than XM, X median will be emerge as the majority vote winner, majority voting winner. So whether I reveal my preference correctly or not does not have a direct bearing on the optimal output, which is the median voter output. So that Wixel-Lindell tax system scheme sort of a thing, where my entire tax structure is contingent upon this maximization problem, and we understand people has good reason to misrepresent the VI. The moment you misrepresent the VI, the tax share is being calculated based on the misrepresented marginal utility. The moment you misrepresent the utility, tax share is misrepresentative, right? So now that sort of problem does not arise here. But what is the problem then? The problem is the amount of tax share that you pay, because ultimately if you vote for this, there will be some T I for which this XM will occur, and now we are talking about fixed tax share. So let's call it some yeah, you can call it some then basically what is happening, that Samuelson condition, which is the first order, forget about the Samuelson condition, first think about the first order utility maximization condition, which is Vi prime equal to Ti, the Lindell equilibrium. That will not hold here, right? Because I am voting for one particular tax share. It has nothing to do with my vote. Because I have chosen a winner, which is the median voter. I might be lying at an extreme. So my Vi price has no direct bearing with the Ti I have to pay. Suppose the Ti that is being paid is 1 by N. It has no bearing with by Vi price. So that efficiency part, which is linking marginal benefit to the tax share, that does not happen. And that's the biggest flaw. The second biggest flaw of it, because Vi prime is not linked to Ti for I individual, though summation Ti should be equal to 1 because that's share, summation Vi prime will not be equal to 1 because Vi prime not equal to Ti for at least 1 I. Correct. So hence the Pareto efficiency part, the Samuelson condition will also not work. Next. So this is why fixed tax shares are avoided. They are completely devoid of two things. One, That is the link between what I pay and what I get. So VI prime not equal to TI. And emerging from that, summation VI prime not equal to 1, which is the Samuelson condition or the efficiency condition. So now we come to the final structure of the tax scheme. So now look.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Sir,
Who is
I
this?
got a little confused. Sir, when you said that there will be a fixed tax share, so did you mean that like it is independent of what TI will be? Like what will
Tax
be
share is
the
TI.
sorry,
What
sir,
is
what
tax?
will yes, sir. So that will be independent of ki what is the distribution of the wealth. मतलब
Look, take for example, make it as simple as possible. Let's assume this is the case. Okay. The government has seen there are 100 people and it says everyone has to pay 1 by 100 of the total tax. So basically, suppose if the total tax collection is T, then this total T has to be divided into in right.
yes, sir.
That's the idea. Now look, what is the flaw there? The flaw is correct because as you choose the median XM over all other XM through majority voting. So VI prime not equal to TI, correct? It can be equal to TI only for the median voter. So other than the median voter, for all other, VI prime not equal to TI. Because TI is just 1 by n and it's fixed for everyone. Or this rule, whatever the rule is, it's fixed. It has no link with the utility maximization problem. Take for example, in the utility maximization, we do have the omega part, right? But when I go for the first order, take for example, when I solve for it, this will be the reduced form, right? And the first order of choosing the x for every I individual, any individual I, the first order will be vi prime of x minus ti equal to 0 or vi prime of x equal to ti. This is a marginal benefit. Left hand side of this equation tells you what? This is a marginal benefit I get from consumption of x amount of output of public good equated to the tax share that I pay. So there is a direct link between what I get and what I pay. But now I'm saying no, I am not interested in this. I am just saying there are 100 people who everyone pays 1 by n, or everyone pays omega I divided by summation omega I. That you can see from the simple macro optimization problem. Omega has no bearing with TI if I go it for utility maximization. Now, whether you take a structure of this sort or a tax structure of this sort, apart from the median voter, all for all, the VI prime not equal to TI will hold. So there is no link between what I get, what I pay. Some, so suppose those who are on the right side of the spectrum of the median voter, who are they? Take for example, let's again draw. It's very simple basically. If you just think it this way. And suppose the red is the median voter. And you have on the spectrum all the xi ranked from in the ascending order. So this is the least xi, this is the max xi, which is the preference coming from the utility maximization. Now, those who are on the right side, take for example, let's consider this person. This person might lie right here. So his xi is larger than xm. That means his tax share is lower than xm. So what he does? He gets less at the equilibrium. He gets less output than he prefers. Those people here will get more at equilibrium than they require. So this critical condition, which is Vi prime equal to Ti, gets lost. And hence, when we sum it up across all individuals, summation Vi prime not equal to 1. Samuelson condition is also lost. That's the prompt. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now we come to the final. Now, what we need to get. The first thing is, what should be the ideal tax system? You should have one, that the output of the public good should be optimal, which is the Pareto efficient part. And the second is this demand suppression or misrepresentation of demand should be ruled out. And that is why you restructure the demand, the tax system. Basically, you are what we'll see, will just modify, tweak the Lindel's equilibrium a little bit, and then everything will follow. Why? The government starts with a very simple, same thing. Ask the people to reveal their VI. But the government knows that that VI might be true or might not be true. But from all the VIs, the government derives the marginal utility such that the Samuelson condition holds. So again, you start just like the Lindell system, you start with efficiency. Right? Now, what is the aggregate or the societal net benefit based on this information that we have so far? The total benefit is what? Summation Vi. And what is the cost? Remember, we have so far assumed that the unit price of the public good is equal to the unit price of the private good equal to 1. That's for simplicity in a ratio. You can change only the ratio, the numerical part will change. So I am total output is X. So the total cost is 1 dot X or X. So this part is my net benefit. Now, suppose I get VI from individual. Might be true, might not be true. But I arrange it in such a way that the moment I get all the VIs, I recalculate the VI primes or choose the X. Because what is VI prime? VI prime of X. And I am the public good provider, government. So I have the control over X. So I derive that X in such a way that summation Vi prime is equal to 1. So Samuelson condition holds. For the timing, let's hold on to that. And what I know that this summation Vi of x minus x is the net aggregate benefit. The left hand side is the total benefit. Right hand side minus x is the cost. So the net benefit is summation Vi minus x. Now the government tries to maximize it. Now, the moment you are in the Lindell equilibrium, why people like? Because his Vi prime, suppose I am the ith individual, so contingent upon my Vi, x will be set in such a way that Vi prime is equal to Ti, small ti, my tax share. So if that is the case, I would like to free ride, I will misrepresent the Vi such that I get more than I pay. So suppose original utility is Vi tilde, but I say it's Vi such that Vi prime is equal to small ti. The government calculates and the government thinks I'm happy. The government is happy because for every individual marginal benefit is equated to the marginal payment or the tax price he has to pay or the tax share he has to pay. Actually, what is happening? The person is actually getting Vi tilde prime, which might be more than the TI. The marginal benefit might be more than the tax share. And that's the reason they will like. But how can you tweak it? Just replace that person's benefit from the tax structure that he pays or the tax he pays. How? Look. For the ith person, instead of setting tax share, put the total tax. Instead of the tax share, you give the total tax the individual needs to pay. And how much? Already X hat has been come from maximizing this aggregate net benefit. X hat is that X which maximizes this function. Put that X hat, take away the entire benefits accruing to the entire society except for that person. So I have just missed one thing. In the under the summation I have said na sum over j. Just put sum over j not equal to I. I'll just put it here. Just hold on. Okay. Now look. This person has given the information on VI. He has no inkling about any VJ. But the tax that he total tax he pays is, look what is the right hand side? X hat is the total value of the public good minus the summation part is the total benefit, not marginal, the total benefit going to everyone else other than me. So X hat minus the benefit going to others is basically what? The benefit that I have. So my total tax is the total benefit I receive. But the tax structure is designed in such a way that it is not linked to VI. So the reason that I should lie about my preference does not come into the picture at all. And that is how the system or the structure, the tax scheme tries to deal with the issue of demand. What do you get then? What is your maximization problem then? This one. You get exact, which is being decided by the government. You know your VI. You don't have any reason to lie to yourself. The VI of exact plus YI is my total utility. And what is my constraint? What is my budget constraint? I have spent YI in purchase of private good plus TI is the total tax I pay. So my expenditure on private good plus my tax liability should be equal to my endowment or income, whatever you want. So the government chooses exact and the total tax for each individual. But every individual chooses what? The VI, which indirectly gives exact. I choose VI. Everyone chooses VI. Sends that VI to government through the elected representatives, and the government chooses exact that maximizes the total benefit net of the cost of providing. So the net aggregate benefit. However, the government does not know whether this VI information is correct or not. Now, to delink that free rider issue, what the government does that when you optimize your individual utility, your total tax payment comes to your utility maximization problem. Because what will be the revised thing or the reduced form? You maximize what from this equation, this constraint optimization part. You optimize VI of exact plus omega I minus capital TI. But your capital TI, though depends on exact, does not depend on VI. So what individual I knows that my TI is this. So what will be my maximization problem? Let's take this one, reduce it. VI of exact, VI of exact minus TI minus omega I, right? Now you replace that from here TI. Omega I you need not bring in because omega I is not contingent upon X. So my first order condition where my choice variable is X, whether I keep omega I in the picture or not will not make any difference. Correct? So I just put, so what I write? My reduced form is VI exact plus omega I minus capital TI. And now you replace capital TI with, okay, hold on, there is a noise coming. Yatharth, yeah, thank you. So now, when you have this, now you know what is the tax structure. Put it back here. Now, if I misrepresent my VI, suppose I give it by VI tilde, the government will come with some X tilde. If and only if I truly give the information about my preference for public good, which is the VI, then only the board can come up with exact. Right? So, then the question that we should ask, is there an incentive for me to lie? What will be the board's optimization problem if I give the information correctly? This one, right? The board's optimization problem, the government's optimization problem is maximizing net aggregate benefit. The first part of this equation, the left hand side. Now replace the summation Vi of x with Vi of x plus summation Vj. It's ith individual plus all other individuals. Rearrange it. You get the rightmost part of the equation. So this is basically optimizing the right-handmost part is the government's optimization problem in a reduced form. What is the individuals of this one? Look, they're exactly similar. The board's objective and my objective functions are exactly similar. So if I lie, I will get something, some x tilde, which is not x hat. But I know whether the government optimizes or I optimize, x hat is that particular amount of public good, which not only maximizes my individual utility, also optimizes the government's optimization problem. Hence, lying is suboptimal. And the moment it is holding true for the ith person, it will hold true for the jth person also. And telling the truth in what we call in game theory parlance is the dominant strategy. It is the same logic that we use in second price auction or the Vikre auction, where the winner is the one who comes up with the highest bid but pays the second highest price quoted. It's exactly the same. So just by delinking, look what the government has done. What is the trick that the government has played? Trick is this. The government knows that every individual will have an objective function of this sort. And the person can lie the moment his tax share is directly linked with his utility from public good. So delink that. But it is not delinking the benefit. What is the left hand side of this equation? How much total I pay? Right hand side of the equation. What total benefit I get? Instead of tax share and marginal benefit, I am getting total payment to total benefit. So benefit, what I pay to what I get is again linked, but in an aggregate sense, not in a marginal sense. So that flavor is also not lost. But also at the same time, what I'm achieving that everyone comes with their true color. Everyone shows exactly what are their preferences. Because if I do not give the correct information, government will come up with something which is suboptimal. The truth, saying the truth, is the optimal strategy. There is one disadvantage. Let me give an example. About this. Let's look at this. Suppose there are 5 people. And there is a bridge to be built which costs 1,000. And suppose there are 5 people. And these 5 people have truthfully revealed their VI. Suppose V1 is equal to 0. I don't require the bridge. V2, say 500. V3, say 100. Say, look, when I'm saying V1, V2, these are VI of X, right? Vi of x. X is I have already chosen equal to 1000 because the bridge is required. The output value is $1,000, which is required to construction of the bridge. And suppose you have another V5, which is equal to say 300. Now, what will be the tax shares from here? Thousand minus all the VI except V1. So V2 plus V3 plus V4 plus V5. Interestingly, you get back 100. Right. Similarly, you can calculate. T2 will be what? 400. T3 will be 0. 4 will be 100. Will be. So what is the total tax rate? 400 plus 100, 500, 700 minus 100. So total tax is 600. The total tax collected is 600, falls short of the required amount. So that's the only disadvantage you can solve. Now you can put one more condition. Along with all these things, put one more condition that summation Ti should be greater than equal to Xi. So in the government's objective function, this is where you get Xi. Just say such that sum Ti is greater than the X hat. So what will happen there? You are adding one more thing, non-wastage. You should have total tax collected should be equal to the total cost of providing the public good. That's the non-wastage clause you are adding. So now, can we have a system which is dealing with demand reveal in the true form, Pareto optimal, and also non-wastage? Answer is no. We can solve with this, not with equal. But this extra which is being generated, the surplus, is actually very small. So that's why you can ignore. When we talk about the demand revealing tax system, there is a fault or flaw. I'll not say fault, I'll say flaw. And the flaw is if you do not add this condition to the government's objective function, you will end up in insufficient fund. Truth, Pareto optimality will be there. But if I want to add this, what I can at max get is this one. And I will share the reference with you. It's very simple actually. Basically, what you do, you just add what you call, say, you add some objective function of the public board that you maximize x, where summation, you remember the summation Vj part minus x by n. And when you do that, you calculate this tax capital Ti is equal to x hat. So what you do, you just add one more component to this thing. Just add plus Si, capital Si, where Si basically is summation of Vj minus x by n. So you start that you are assigned equivalent share of the cost, and then you link back to the benefit. That can be solved, but what you'll get is there will be a little bit of surplus fund. So that can be minimized. Like if you're actually a little bit of surplus will not be a major problem rather than insufficient funds. Because with insufficient funds, you will not be able to provide the bridge. With some surplus fund, you can not only provide the bridge, but maybe paint it blue and black, red and blue, whatever you want. You add some fancy lighting on it also. So that's the thing. Okay. So that's all for the theoretical part. Let me stop sharing. And if you have any queries, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, then let me stop the recording. So tomorrow we'll start with